Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy here. 4 nerds, by nerds, hanging out with a full contingent today.
Ryan.
Ted.
Nate.
And we had a request to do a video on healer builds. And, you know, I feel like 5th edition is like the most healingest edition of all Dungeons and Dragons ever.
Who gets access to the spell Cure Wounds? Let's see. Bard, Ranger,
the
Paladin,
list of people that don't
Druid,
is shorter.
Cleric.
Could just, who can't heal? Barbarian, Monk, Sorcerer, Wizard, and Warlock. You know, everybody else gets a Fighter and Rogue.
Fighter and Rogue.
But there's so many of them that do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like that's almost true. Like, all the Divinity classes got it before, too. So, wait, did they not previously give Cure Light to Druids?
Druids always had it.
They've always had Cure.
Yeah, so I
but
feel
the
like
fact that, Rangers and Bards, now have, far more spell casting than they used to.
Yeah.
And having access to that right away, it's more classes that are straight up.
So when we're
that.
talking to a healer build, you're going to go you could go Bard, you can go Druid, obviously Cleric.
Oh, really?
Really?
I heard the heal thing.
Paladin because Ranger.
Paladin's got access to the lay on hands, and that in and of itself is a massive pool.
It's nice because it's so flexible, and it's so like, I can just spend this amount of that resource, and we're golden.
Yeah.
Oh, you're down 1 point.
It's kind of weird though that the Ranger gets Cure, but the Paladin doesn't. But I know they have lay on hands.
Wait, I think the Paladin gets Cure on his spell list too.
They?
It's just like, I could smite things, or I could cure somebody. I'm gonna smite.
Smite.
Yeah.
I'm not actually sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we had looked at the books a little bit ago.
And we came back with a PHP in hand to figure out, yes, the Paladin does in fact get Cure Light Wounds
on their spell list.
I don't think any of us have ever cast Cure Light Wounds as a Paladin.
No, it's about smiting.
Yeah, it's all about the smite.
I think the Paladin I've played, I've actually used the Cure spells. When the
You're doing it wrong.
If it can't be resolved with Cure Lay on Hands, it's sorry, you're beyond my help.
I'm sorry. I don't feel that the Paladin is all about the smite. I think that's a mechanic that's overused. But here we're talking about healers. So
if you have a kindler, gentler Paladin, could absolutely be sacking your spells for cures.
So if you're not playing a Paladin the way it should be played.
Yeah. Now that being said, the Paladin has cures and lay on hands. They're not quite the optimal healer at that point. Still, there's definitely a couple things to look at. If you're using feats, there's definitely 2 feats that will help with your healer build.
You definitely need healer.
Yeah, healer, which basically lets you just turn healer kits into
D4 little things of healing. Yeah, D4 parcels of healing.
After combats, and then you also
That's pretty significant.
That's D6 plus 4.
D6. Yeah.
Oh, what? Wow. All right, that's even better than I thought. Holy crap!
And then you also have
Inspiring Leader.
Inspiring Leader, which after 10 minutes of yammering, you can give your party temporary hit points equal to your level plus your charisma modifier. And you can do that once every short or long rest.
Right. So those 2 feats are, if you're like, I want to make the most healery of healers, those are the way to go, especially when you're talking charisma. Bard or Paladin, fantastic options for those 2.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is obviously one of the best healers in the game is always going to be the cleric. You can't get around that.
It's kind of on their job description.
Yeah, it's what they do. It's in the resume. Yeah. And along with that, if you go, what is it? The domain is life.
Life.
That bumps up their ability to heal even more. If you go human, you can take the healer feat at 1st level, or you could go with the other one, Inspiring Leader. Yeah. Either way, 4th level, you take the other one.
Yeah,
so
I would definitely start off with healer, because 5 gold is not a huge resource. So if everybody starts off the game with a healer's kit, because every background comes with anywhere from 5 to 15 gold. Hey, use that to buy a healer's kit. That's 10d6 plus 40 hit points.
Take the noble background just so you can get more healer kits.
Right, yeah.
It'd be like 3 more healers.
This is a hard healer kit economy. Although if I was DMing for this party, you guys have bought all the healers kit, so now the prices are going up. This is like supply and demand economy, my friend.
The advantages with the life domain is Cure Wounds is a domain spell, so it's always prepared, and the Discipline of Life. When you use a spell at 1st level higher to restore hit points, you get 2 plus the spell's level in addition to your to your D8s and wisdom modifier. So that's a lot of pump.
And it gets crazier later levels.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
and not the fact mention the fact too that don't they get heavy armor.
They
So
do.
so you get to pile on the armor, throw a shield on, and like your odds of getting hit just went down drastically.
Yes.
So that's super helpful.
I mean, if you want it to be really ridiculous, you could take Bard like for, I don't know, what do you need? Like, is it 5 levels to where you get your Bardic inspiration? Every short rest, or is it always when you do a short rest you can do Song of Rest?
I think it's
Yeah,
always when
yes.
you do a short rest.
Yeah, so you know,
So your Song of Rest is only second level. So you only need 2 levels of Bard for that.
right, but it gets better too as you
Yes.
as you go up. So you might want to figure out what the optimum is. They're both full spellcasting classes, so you're gonna your number of spell slots will continually increase on par. And not only that, because Cure Wounds is on your spell list, and you only you can cast it at whatever level you want. You're not going to be adversely affected
Right.
by the level differences, because where some of the casting classes suffer from not having spells known to cast at higher levels. Well, when you have a spell that you can just pump up, it doesn't matter.
Song of Rest D6 you get at second level, and it doesn't go up to a D8 until 9th. So I don't think taking it all the way to 9 levels is all that helpful. You get a lot of other features, but as far as healer situations, I don't think it adds as much as just sticking with cleric.
So, or if we can get sorcerer into the mix with like the sorcerer point expenditures, like the meta magics, where you can like twin spells healing. So like battlefield where like people are injured and you need to tend people really quick. Oh, I'm gonna sack out spells to twin spell and have sorcerer points.
So you could
you could mix that in too
Or distance spell is also another really awesome one for
the healing situation. Yeah,
Yes.
because the twin spell they're gonna have to both be adjacent pretty much, so you can
Yeah.
like do it. But with the distance spell, I think you might even be able to do the distance spell and twin spell at the same time. Maybe.
I
could-
think it's one or I
you could
don't think you can.
twin healing word though.
Yeah.
Bonus action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh look, I need to stabilize 2 guys this round, or somebody dies. Bam!
Yeah.
Have a bunch of hit
You
points
get the
instead.
that's like the emergency medic build, you know.
Yeah, I really like the 2 levels of Bard, and then go Life Cleric. You're gonna have your heavy armor. You're gonna have the extra healing stuff. If you want to be really ridiculous, you take those 2 feats we discussed.
Yeah.
Go human.
What's the crunch on the Inspiring Leader? It's how many temporary hit points is it?
It's your level plus your charisma mod.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're already bard, you're gonna want that to be kind of bumpy.
Yeah, I don't think it's as huge, as the actual healer feat, because even what do you call it?
Well, that's all it does, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you get to do that every single time.
You can do it as a short rest. Every time you
Up
do a
to 6
short or
people.
long rest.
Your
and-
party basically.
Well, at low levels, it is nice to have extra buffer hit points because if you get crit, you could actually just get killed.
Well,
outright.
I mean, you're
gain temporary
broadening
hit points from this feat again until it is finished a short or a long rest.
Right. So every short or long rest, it's a renewable resource. So you couple that with the healer feat, and you're talking like So potentially like 10. So 10 hit points from the healer feat if you roll max on that. And then if you're like 10th level with a decent charisma modifier, so that's 12, 22, buffering out 22 hit points per party member every single combat, basically. Yeah. Like
Well, and the other thing too is like the healer kit. While it's nice in combat, it doesn't help you.
No.
Right.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, it is only an action to use.
I thought it was during a short rest or something, but as an action, you can.
As
do
an
it.
action, you can spend 1 use of a healer's kit to tend to a creature and restore 1d6 plus 4 hit points to it, plus additional hit points equal to the creature's maximum number of hit dice. The creature can't regain hit points from this feat again until it finishes a short or a long rest.
Oh, okay. So so same thing. You're only going to benefit from it once per short rest, and it's an action per. And again, but then the only other issue is the fact that in the heat of the moment, sometimes having the hit points up front is a little bit more useful than after the fact.
well, yeah, like getting crit to death,
Yeah,
So,
crit
yeah.
to death would be a major problem.
Yeah,
which is a low level party problem.
it is a low level party problem.
Yeah.
So again, we talked about other classes too, like the ranger. Can heal in this edition. It's like while it's not the most optimal healer build you can go with, it is kind of cool that there's so many options for 5th edition to get healing into the party, where you don't actually even need a cleric anymore.
Yeah, no, not really.
I have a few so people that have healing or have access to healing kits, like someone has a healer feat. Arranging with a healer feat is actually really useful for that beginning.
Yeah, I would say, like, if you want to be, your party's medic, first level, any one of those classes that have access to cure, be a human, take the healer feat. That is your ideal situation. Every party wants you there.
Yeah, they always want you around.
You're getting that invite.
Now, and if you're going to go the multi-class option, sorcerer for the various resources you get with the meta magic feats, really cool. Plus, you can start to sack out some of your spells to have some of those more of those resources available. And warlock, also any of your charisma casters that get access to cure light. Well, now every time you short rest, you're getting more 2 spell slots back that you cast at max level.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty.
But
awesome.
you're gonna take a hit when you're with the warlock
but for your level,
your spell level.
Yeah.
Because warlock is separate. It doesn't stack with the other ones.
you kind of have to keep pumping the warlock in a way too. So yeah, like you have to. This would be kind of a min-maxy situation where like, I need to kind of keep going on the warlock to make this worthwhile. So what class would be good to take? Maybe the first 4 or 5 levels of, and then like straight up warlock afterwards.
Life cleric.
Probably life cleric. Oh, I'm in ridiculously heavy armor, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then the thing too is like, and you could go, any of them, but you could go blade pack and be right in the thick of things without too much problem.
Right. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
the other thing that I think we mentioned off camera is if you're seriously looking at at doing this and you're liking the sorcerer idea, and you happen to play with the Unearthed Arcana stuff, you could always go Favorite Soul.
Favorite Soul.
I've actually been dying to play a Favorite Soul.
I'm definitely leaning that direction as well.
Yeah, I just like them thematically, but yeah, that actually gives you the best of kind of both worlds with sorcerer and healing.
Right.
So, there's probably a plethora and ton of other variations we could go on the healer. We've given you some ideas. We've given you our best pick, I think. So with that, you guys can let us know what you think. How would you do it? How have you done it? In the comments below while you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can tweet us at Nerdarchy on Twitter.
You can check out awesome articles over at nerdarchy.com.
And while you're there, you can check out Nerdarchy the store.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.